Hello and welcome to the Math Studio. In this video, we're going to look at an example involving the conversion of a set of parametric equations into Cartesian form or into a Cartesian equation. So let's have a look at this example. Find the Cartesian equation of the parametric equations x equals 4p squared and y equals p cubed plus 3. So this is somewhat similar to the last video that I've done and the example that I used in the last video, and we saw that it was a parabola, so you're welcome to have a look at that video if you haven't seen it already. But this one's a little bit different. X is in terms of p squared, y is in terms of p cubed. So this poses some challenges of its own. So let's start. We're going to sort of use a similar tactic to what we used in the last video, which is employing a substitution method from simultaneous equations, making p the subject, of course, and eventually eliminating the p from the second equation. So I've labeled the equations, equation 1, so x equals 4p squared, and equation 2, y equals p cubed plus 3. So let's start. So let's start with equation number 1. So from 1, we have 4p squared is equal to x. So I'll just switch them around. Divide both sides by 4. So p squared is equal to x over 4. Now we take the square root of both sides. So p is equal to plus or minus the square root of x on 2. So taking the square root of top and bottom, numerator, denominator, of course, square root of 4 is 2. So p is plus or minus square root of x plus 2. So from 2. So we're going to substitute out the p, and we're going to substitute in its place plus or minus square root of x on 2. Now, what we're going to do first though is I'm going to split up the p cubed plus 3 into p times p squared. You'll see why in a moment. So y is equal to p multiplied by p squared plus 3. After all, using index laws, p cubed is just p times p squared. Now we can substitute the p, or substitute out the p in its place, substitute plus or minus the square root of x plus 2. So p is plus or minus square root of x on 2, multiplied by p squared, so that's plus or minus the square root of x on 2, all squared, plus 3. So that's going to be equal to plus or minus square root of x on 2 multiplied by, now we have square root of x over 2. Now plus or minus, when you square it, the plus or minus in fact doesn't matter. The solution is going to be non-negative anyway, okay, or the expansion of that. So that's just going to be x over 4 plus 3. Okay, now we can multiply the numerators together, so that's going to be plus or minus x root x all over 8 plus 3. Now you could sort of maybe put in one more step or do one more step, which is multiply everything by 8. Okay, so if you didn't want to have a fraction there, so I'll just adjust the camera a little bit just so you can see that last line. So 8y is equal to plus or minus x root x plus 24. And of course you can rearrange it any other way you like. So this is in fact a relation. In fact, you're welcome to have a go at graphing that using Desmos or a graphing calculator, and it'll look something like that. And with a y-intercept of 3, and there's a sharp corner there at the y-intercept of 3. Okay. Thank you for watching.